Hello there. Good morning. It is Sunday, May 4th. Welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage. Okay, so yesterday we're continuing with this. Let me show you over here first. I got some more things done here during the week and kind of last weekend. So you got more of these fuel lines and brake lines finally attached. Essentially, the rear brake lines are installed permanently, other than the hoses going to the wheels. These larger ones here, you see, this is the oil cooler for the transmission. So those lines are installed and headed towards the transmission to where it goes. On the ends of these, there's two hoses that are made up that to allow for movement of the engine that have to go on, but the transmission's got to go in before that happens. Also have some of the fuel lines you see coming out of the tank going to the filter. From the filter goes under the frame back over here to, this is a selector valve that selects either the right or the left hand tank. Same thing, that much is installed on it's started on the other side. Some of these lines are still at the platers. The ones you see missing here are at the plating place. I talked to them Friday, and they said I would be able to pick my stuff up all done tomorrow some point. They're going to call me. But you see some of the brake lines, they stop right here at the pressure switch for the rear brakes. Going forward to the metering valve, that's missing. From the metering valve to the front wheels, those are being plated right now. I have completed the rear brakes, got the new shoes and the new hardware and all that stuff installed. You see the brake, the e-brake cables are coming out of the rear drums. Let's see, put one of the senders in one of the tanks. The other thing yesterday that we did was we put the motor over here. Excuse me, I'm wandering around in circles. The motor here on the test stand, you notice it's half-ass apart. We did remove part of some of the stuff yesterday. We got to take this off the stand and paint it. I got paint custom made that matches my wheels. So we want to get, keep going and get into that. But you can see over here on the bench stuff that we've taken off of it. Carburetor, distributor, that's an extra carburetor you're looking at right there. There's an intake manifold that I had, this oil fill, I had the end of the manifold drilled, and that bought that fill piece and the cap probably 15 years ago, maybe more. There's the alternator that we took off. We got another bracket to put the alternator on the opposite side of the motor, because where it is now, it conflicts with the water coming out of the motor and going into the radiator. This is right in the way. This is on the left side, and that's where the outlet on the radiator is, on the left side. So this has to go to the right, so that the water hose going into the radiator from the motor into the radiator doesn't conflict with it. Anyway, I'll try and show you more later. Okay, well, you can see already started taking this apart so I can remove the engine from the run stand. What I'm going to do, the plan is to take it off the run stand, put it on a build stand, the kind of stand you use when you're assembling the motor, because I want to put the manifold back on it with some manifold gaskets, the extra ones that I have, older ones, but leftovers that I have, so that I can fill the block with vinegar, at least overnight, maybe 2 nights, because I found that, you know, I put this together and put it on the stand. Well, I put it together and put it on a stand 20 years ago, I think. And then for whatever reason, I don't know if I put another motor on the stand or what the deal was. It got taken off the stand and just put on a roll around. And then I put it back here. So it's been back here on the run stand now for between 5 and 10 years. I don't remember actually when. And when I did this, I didn't know how long it was going to be on there. And so I just put water in it for coolant. Well, what I found now is that that block was boiled out before I put it together, so it was nice and clean inside. Well, the water attacked it. Between the water and the aluminum, I got corrosion on the backside of the water pump, white kind of corrosion. And I think the aluminum cast iron mixture with just water was causing some problems. I forgot what they call that. I forgot what they call that chemical process when the two different dissimilar types of metals. So anyway, what I want to do now, it's quite corroded inside now at this point. So before I put it in the car, you know, in the new vehicle, I want to flush it out. So I'm going to use, I've done that before with like rusty plumbing pipes. Put vinegar in them overnight at least, and it dissolves the rust, or at least it dissolves a good portion of it. There isn't that much in here, so I think that'll take care of it. But at any rate, I'm going to set this up so I can fill the block with vinegar, white vinegar, at least overnight, and then maybe I'll drain it and see how dirty it is. I'm probably going to go 2 nights. I don't think it's going to hurt a thing. I'll go 2 nights and then I'll drain the vinegar and flush out the block. Maybe put some baking soda or something inside of it so it neutralizes the acid. And that's the process I'm starting on right now. So I'll turn the camera on. I'll fill some of it maybe normal speed and then fast motion that, and I'll put some of it on, what do they call that? Stop action or whatever. I can't think of the name of it now. But at any rate, here goes. Okay, for starters, on this side, I'm putting the little clips that the bridle that we made for the cherry picker hooks onto. They bolt to the exhaust ports. These go on here. Okay. Okay, let's go do the other side. Ooh, sorry. We're too close. Okay, sorry about that. I thought I had the camera running and I didn't. So we got it off the stand, but now that we should be filming this, and I thought I was. Well, that puts it up there, doesn't it? Uh-huh.
These are usually like horizontal. You want me to, we should try and make this more horizontal like this one.
Yeah, the whole thing's got to rotate, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'll get to do that.
I think you need to lower it a little first. What we should do here, hold on, we're not being smart. Now we can do whatever we want.
It's gonna get all goofy on it.
Let's just get that one out of the way for now. And let's do these two.
Well, this whole thing has to come this way, because that's not long enough to reach the hole. Oh, I see, I was going in the wrong hole, sorry. Is that what you want?
I don't know, I can't see. Does it look pretty straight across? It does.
It's not bad, that's close enough.
I mean, is it okay? Is that what you want?
Yeah, it's fine.
We should cut this. That's gonna.
Cut what?
This all thread. All thread.
Want to go through? Oh no, on that side it's done. Well, here.
It's all the way in.
Yeah, I know, but this side's got a bolt, but
I'll cut it. You don't want to cut
I
it?
don't want to cut it. Why cut it? Then I gotta go find a longer one the next time I need a long one.
Right.
Okay. So we just swap these two, because this is a through bolt.
That's not going to be in the way?
No.
We have to.
The ratchet.
Here, it's gone. What?
I was wondering we should take this off. I can take it off with this installed, I think. It's just a little harder.
Is that the flex plate you're using?
No, I don't think so.
You
I
have
just gotta make sure. I got one inside there. It looks almost new. I just gotta make sure it's the right number of teeth. It ain't going in there.
You might need to bang that up a little. Just bottoming out here. Let me have a wrench. Thanks. Yeah, that bottomed, I think.
Oh.
No,
Maybe
it,
it's long.
it made it up.
Get more washers.
Here, you want this?
Yeah.
Go ahead and put a Ron Titan on it. Of course, there's no 3/8 washers now.
There's a whole tub full of hardware up there.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, see it on top of it. With all the hardware we took out of off of
Oh,
the
I
chassis.
thought you meant on the workbench.
No. What is this, 11/16 maybe?
What?
The bolts for the flywheel, for the flex plate. Put this up there somewhere too. So that when I go to get stuff for the stand, it's all in one place.
Over here.
You need it lower?
No, I just raised it because it wouldn't go on.
I went shopping.
Wow. You were probably at Farmer's Market.
That's right. I went to Dean's.
Yeah.
Money Dean's.
Joe's. Okay, you can lower it. Wow. thing really sags.
What's that for?
It's the engine for the Model N. The one that was on the run stand, you know?
Okay.
Okay,
We done?
I am.
Bondage tape.
Yeah, leave that here.
How come Marty didn't come to the car show?
Don't know.
I thought maybe they said.
No, we asked how she was doing, but, I don't remember Nicole saying what she was doing.
Probably bathing Barbara.
God.
Yeah, I guess Barbara's going to the Elms.
In like
What's that?
2 weeks, I guess?
Oh.
San Carlos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was San Carlos. John was saying something like
he
San
kept,
Mateo.
he kept saying San.
Yeah,
Are you filming?
Yes. Okay, so I guess I can shut that off too, huh? Okay, so here we go. Where are you going to be with this? Okay, well, I got this on the stand. I want to put the intake manifold back on here so that I can fill this water jacket system with vinegar. So what I'm trying to do now is scrape all the old sealer and anything else that's stuck on the gasket surface of the head so that I can put the manifold on there and it'll hold water. I don't want the water running out of there and going into the oil. So that's kind of what I'm up to. I've been scraping this with a razor, you know, one of those razor things you use for cleaning windows. And first thing I'm going to do is try and vacuum all this debris out of here that, like I said, I'm trying to keep from going in the oil also. So here goes. Okay, well, we're going to see if we're successful in MacGyvering a way to fill these water jackets with white vinegar without it running all over the floor. You see the water pump here on the bottom of the water pump. Put the hose back on. I didn't have anything that if I had an 1.5 inch cap, Scott said an 1.5 inch cap might fit in there, but he didn't have one. An 1.5 inch copper cap might fit in there. What I found is I had a bell reducer that goes from 3/4 to maybe an 1.5 inches or an 1.25 inches. And it fits just perfect inside the hose. So what I've done here, as you can see, is I found a valve. That's a gas valve, I think, but I believe it'll work for water too. And I put a 3/4 inch nipple on the back side of it and threaded it backwards into the thread inside that bell reducer. In order to do that, luckily I had a 3/4 inch pipe tap. In order to do that, I had to tap the thread backwards. So anyway, I'm going to try pouring. I put the manifold back on so I could close off the water jackets, keep them from running over and down into the valley and into the oil. So hopefully that will work. So I can fill the water jackets right up to this level. That's what I'm planning on doing, filling it right up till there. And then I'm going to park this thing and leave it for sure overnight, probably tomorrow night too, in an effort to try and, what do they call that? Passivate, I think, is the term that would be used to try and clean all the rust out of the casting. And then, like I said, once I feel that it's done as much as it's going to do, I will run some baking soda through there so that any acid stops etching the casting, the inside of the casting. Hello there, welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage. Today is, I believe it's the 8th. I don't remember for sure. It's Thursday. Here's the latest update. Discovered a couple of days ago another 25-year-old error on my part. You see all the tape there on the frame? I've been remaking brake lines again. You see one there is nice and shiny. Instead of yellow, it's the way it comes from the factory because I had to replace it. That one I was able to... Here, wait a minute, let me back up. Remember in the last video I told you that valve right there, that square brass block you see, is a metering valve. I told you that was plumbed wrong. It's correctly plumbed now. The supply goes into the outlet that has no mate on the other side of the body. This one is a residual pressure valve. Okay, well, the new mistake, that one was plumbed wrong the last time. The two that oppose each other on the bottom went to front wheels. No, I'm sorry. The two on the left-hand side that are both coming out the same side of the block went to the front wheels. That's wrong. One of those is supply and one of those is whatever's opposite supply. The new error was this. In other words, both of these valves had some documentation when I bought them 25 plus years ago. And I seem to have overlooked the documentation on both of them. This one tells you how it's got to be plumbed the way you see it now. And the documentation on this one said the small end, the end that takes a 3/16 brake line with a small adapter, is the supply end. The end with the 1/2" 20 thread is the controlled end, let's put it that way. Well, I had that turned around. I had the end with the big fitting towards the master cylinder, which is the supply side. It was backwards. So like I said, I was able to reverse the bends on one of these as necessary to make it work here. Because obviously we don't want a bunch of extra strap holes, those little black straps, and trying to not have all kinds of spares, you know, because we had to move things. I got that line reversed. This one, I was not able to do that. So I spent a good 4 hours today remaking that line right there. So now tomorrow I'll bring probably both of these because, well, that one don't look bad. Even the color, I have to look at that closer and see if I'm bringing it down there. There's a minimum charge, so I might bring them both down there. If I'm going to pay the minimum charge, just as well have them coat both of them. But anyway, I'm not leaving that silver. Everything else on here is gold, and everything's going to be gold. So that's my mistake, and I got to pay for it. But that's what's the latest. Oh, that other stuff, the last shipment that I picked up that came back included some parts you see on the calipers, the little spring clips there that are anti-rattle clips for the brake pad. I put those on both front wheels. So I put the caliper back on, put the hose on this wheel. I haven't done any of that on the other side yet. Like I said, I got busy. Oh, what I have done, that took quite a bit of time. We pulled the motor off the run stand. And when we drained it, we noticed there was quite a bit of color in the coolant. So I think I just had water in it, and it's been in there now for, oh, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 years. So no rust inhibitor or any of that. So what I've been doing is trying to clean that cooling system. I put a mixture that I had stored already. I use it in the ultrasonic cleaner, half vinegar, half water. And I thought, you know what, I should just get some more vinegar and go full strength vinegar. And I did that. I dumped the other stuff, put the full strength vinegar in it overnight. And right now it has water and baking soda in it. I am going to drain that when I get some time. You notice I've got up there on the shelf, I bought some coolant, Peak antifreeze. Got 3 gallons of it up there. I had one, I bought 2 more. Anyway, I'm going to drain this probably tomorrow when I get done, after I bring those things to the plater. I'm going to drain this and fill it with coolant temporarily, so because the coolant has rust inhibitor in it. And I'm hoping that while it sits here, If I leave it empty, it's going to rust. You know, if it's dry, there's no liquid in it at all, it's going to rust worse, like casting does, or any kind of bare metal does. When you clean it really good and then air hits it, it rusts immediately. So I'm trying to stop that process, and I'm going to put coolant in it. And once we get to cleaning this motor for paint and all that other stuff, I'll drain the coolant, you know, because it'll only be a few days that way. At that point, I'm going to take the water pump off and put a new one on there, because like I said, there was some corrosion around that. That pump isn't old at all, but the corrosion worries me. And while I'm at this point, I'm not gonna pass up the easy correction. It's a lot easier doing this before it's in a finished engine compartment. So I ordered, and I'm waiting for another water pump. We're taking the manifold off, taking the rocker arm covers off. Get it all covered up for paint. They're going to paint the manifold too. But at any rate, that's yet to come. Anyway, bye. Okay, well, that's where we're going to leave it tonight. See, I got the front wheel on the little of the assembly. What do you call that? The stand that you build the motor on. I've got it jacked up so that the motor is level. So hopefully the whole water jacket is full. And what I found was, I remember now, I had it marked on the bottles. The vinegar that I'm using is the vinegar that we mix to use in the ultrasonic cleaner. And the formula for that cleaner is 50% distilled water and 50% distilled vinegar. So that's what this is. I believe I should be using 100% vinegar. So I'm going to leave this tonight. This is what I had on the shelf. I'm going to leave this tonight, and tomorrow I'm going to go get, what did I put in here? 2.5 gallons. I'm going to go get 3 gallons of distilled white vinegar. So I'll drain this and I'll refill it with the 100% vinegar. And let that sit overnight tomorrow night and drain that, then I'll flush this. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Oh, I see there's a bolt that got taken out on the water pump. I'm surprised it isn't leaking. No pressure in it. I guess it would if there was pressure in there. But at any rate, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hello there. Welcome back to Blue Hind's Garage. Here's what we's up to today. For starters, I've been flushing the cooling system on that. I use vinegar and water, half and half. And then straight vinegar, I think at least overnight on each one. So it flushes clean now. So that's what's going on. I got a, go ahead, I can deal with it. Got a torque converter here upside down trying to drain it. That's a core that in order to get a torque converter made around here, you need to supply a core. Or pay $100 if you don't have one. At least that was one option, one guy said. I did turn up a core. If it works, I gotta find out if that's acceptable. And I talked to a friend of mine that used to own a transmission shop, and he said that's the guy that he uses to make the torque converters needs a core. So hopefully that'll satisfy. And there we go. You see, this is covered to keep that dust from the grinding on the cast iron from getting all over it. In the meantime, let's see, what did we do? We put the drag link on last night, set the toe, temporarily at least. And that's where we're at with all of this. I'm gonna make the second of the two fuel gauge senders, fuel level senders, and put that in the driver's side tank shortly. Anyway, Talk to you later. Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage. Today is Saturday, May 17th. Catching up on a few more things, trying to finalize a few things. I just took the brake drum off, take one final look in here, make sure everything was where it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to be, and it all looks good. So I'm going to put that back on for the final time. And I also got the little flexible lines hooked up on the rear wheels. And the it's hard to shoot it here. The cables that go into the rear wheels for the e-brake are finally all installed and kind of cleaned up. The ends of them, I guess, I don't know if they're stainless. I think they're stainless, but they were a little oxidized, so they didn't look too good. So I've got a polishing wheel and some rouge and stuff, so I cleaned the ends on those and put them together. You see the clevis and the cable. That cable is the one that I had to cut off earlier because I couldn't get the set screws loose. So I got a new cable in there, and it's all attached to the clevis. And this one is too. Where is it? There it is. So all of this is done, as far as I know anyway, until we test it. So like I said, these look normal. The big shoes on the front, the little shoes, the big shoes on the back, the little shoes on the front, which is the way you're supposed to set those up. And we have mocked up the new alternator bracket here. Remember, the alternator was on the other side of the motor, it was on the left side. And then we come to find out that the inlet for the radiator, the hose that comes out of the top of the motor right there, the thermostat housing goes into the top of the radiator, goes in on the left side of the radiator, so the alternator was right in the way. So we got a bracket that puts the alternator on the right instead of on the left. That belt right now is, I cut that so I can get a length. The belt is a different length than the other one was by about 3 inches, 4 inches. This one's 51, the other one was 54, almost 55 inches. So anyway, we got that on there. The manifold's going to come back off because we're going to bead blast it. Probably grind some of the stuff, the words off of it and stuff like that, smooth it out a bit. So it looks more like a factory manifold is what we're looking for there. You're looking at the back of the motor here on this end. So we got, that's our next project, getting this ready for paint. So like I said, the rocker arm covers will come off. We'll tape all of that area, mask that area for paint. The pan's staying on. The pump is going to get covered. That's staying on. It's glued on. The gaskets are glued on. Water pump is coming off. I've got a new water pump. Even though that water pump I don't think has ever been on the road. I think that was a new replacement when I put this motor together. And it's only been on the engine stand. It's never been on the road. Nonetheless, like I said, there was some indications of some corrosion because I had water in the motor for so long. There was, like I said, indications of some rust and other kinds of corrosion, so I'm replacing it. Now's the best time to do it, not while after it's back in the car and all painted. So I got a new water pump for it. So that's going to come off. It also makes it easier to paint the front of the motor. So the water pump will be coming off. The vibration damper will be coming off. You see the transmission, we got that hanging on another engine stand, again for painting. See? The pan's coming off of that. We got another pan. Scott welded a drain plug in it. A few things missing here. The little bail for this thing is missing. I I need to find out where. Oh, there. The kick down goes over here. No, that's a dipstick. The kick down, I think, is on this side somewhere. I don't know. I got to find all of that out because I don't remember. It's been too long. Okay, so anyway, we're making progress and we're getting towards the end. You notice that there isn't a lot of stuff left to put on this chassis. Most of it's, remember, this whole area here was buried in pieces. Well, they're all here now. And a few here. That's a filler for the fuel tank. Those are steering shaft U-joints. There's the brake pedal and the little short steering shaft that goes between the steering column and the steering box. So like I said, there ain't a whole lot. There's a few more pieces down there, running board bracket extensions, you know, that poke them out underneath the running boards, and a few other pieces, not much. So anyway, that's where we're at. Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage. Today is May 31st. Spray day or paint day. See, we got the chassis sitting out here all covered up, out of harm's way, I hope. And we've got the area as protected as we're going to make it. See, you got visqueen all along that wall up to the top shelf there. And the fixture with the paint stuff over here, we're going to kind of shoot the paint towards the visqueen. And then we got this area covered up to the tape you see here. So after we spray that, we'll roll the motor and the transmission over somewhere in this area, you know, a few feet behind that, and spray that stuff. In the meantime, we got that window open with a box fan blowing air in, clean air in, hopefully. Cleaner, anyway. And we got that window wide open. We got those two windows open. There's a box fan over there in front of that one, blowing air in. You see this screen moving over there a little bit. And then I got the skylight open, and the fan's pulling air up. So hopefully they're sucking air in through the windows, and it's going to go out the skylight. Might crack the door open a little on the bottom. The only problem with that is that's usually the direction the wind blows towards the garage, in the garage. So any garbage out there is going to get blown in. I'm going to try to not do that. See if it'll work with the box fans and the skylight open. So here we go. We're getting ready. I got the hose out. That goes to the spray gun. It's over there. It's got a separator in front of it. It's got a regulator. It's set at 20 psi for HVLC. So wish me luck. I'll try and set a what do you call, tripod up somewhere, probably over there near that sheet metal brake, so it looks over this whole area and give you something to look at, maybe. All right, watch the monkeys at work. Anyway, here goes. Okay, well, I believe you just watched the edited footage we took of doing the painting this afternoon. You can see here, this is where you didn't see this in the videos because the camera was on the tripod and I never turned it around to show this side. But this is where all the mixing and stuff happened while the camera was facing the other way. It was facing the engine, the transmission, and all the parts. Like I said, all the mixing happened here. You can see the colors. The clear, the gray from the primer, the color, and the clear. Some lacquer thinner we used for cleaning the gun. Anyway, and then we, once we were done, we spent a little bit of time gathering up the visqueen, putting the chassis back in here. This stuff was still pretty wet when we closed up the shop, but there it is. I'm happy with it. There it is. You can see, I think, even in the videos here, there's plenty of paint on this stuff. I believe we did one coat on the sealer, and then I think we did 3 on the color and 2 on the clear. Actually, when I bought the paint material, I didn't realize there was going to be this much stuff to paint. We started taking stuff apart and kind of decided at that point what we were going to paint to match the engine. And until that point, I was thinking we were still doing the old-fashioned method where a lot of this stuff would have been black. The coil probably would have been black. The starter motor would have been black. I don't know. The pulleys would have been black. Transmission could have been anything. Probably was going to be engine color. But like I said, there's quite a bit of stuff here, and it took a fair amount of paint. I don't think it's HVLP, so I don't think we wasted too much, as far as overspray. Like I said, so far the light isn't that great over here, and the stuff is not really under the lights that well. This end of it is not bad, but like I said, it's got a good coat of paint on it. It's covered, and then the clear. And the clear is a semi, which we're really happy with too, because the chassis is 50% gloss, and it's pretty close as far as the amount of shine, I would say. All right, so anyway, I'm happy with that. We're going to leave this sit now for at least a couple of days. Well, probably more like 3 or 4 or 5 days. Because everything is, this stuff is so heavy that when you handle it, you really use a lot of force. So you don't want it soft. You want it dry, cured before you handle it. Anyway, pretty happy with that.